Yes, you are not a South African. You are not a black South African. I see a lot of black people in South Africa talking about how Nigerians aren't South African, talking about how Zimbabweans aren't South Africans. Yes, they are right about that. Nigerians aren't South Africans. Zimbabweans are not South Africans. But the very same black people who are in South Africa also aren't South Africans. We are not South Africans. You are not a South African. You see, South Africa, it's a white establishment. It's a European colony or a British colony. The same colonial master that brought us apartheid is the very same colonial master that gave us the so-called democracy. Nelson Mandela did not give us any democracy. The enemy reformed apartheid and brought us into a new system of oppression. You see, all those codicide negotiations, they were negotiating about black people having to compromise their revolution to stop fighting back. Then at least the enemy will reform. But still, this institution, this business property called South Africa, is a white establishment, a white domination establishment, a white racist establishment. And you can see this in the reality of things, the lives of black people in the country compared to the lives of white people in the country. Compare it to when a black man goes to court and when a white man goes to court. When a black man is accused of murder and when a white man is accused of murder. These things are different dimensions. There is still a system of inequality. There's still a system of white domination. White people owned more land in this country than black people do. Whereas the majority of the people in this so-called country are black people. See, white domination did not end. They just reformed apartheid and brought us to a new system of oppression called a rainbow nation. So you guys should stop trying to chase out Nigerians out of the country because you think that they are drug dealers. You guys should stop trying to chase Zimbabweans out of the country because you think that they are not South Africans, or you think that they are taking your jobs, or they are bringing some kind of crime. We are not the ones who made these laws in the first place, and the very same laws that you guys are trying to protect are the same laws that keep you inferior, the same laws that keep you oppressed, and the same laws that maintain white domination, like illegal land occupation. That is a law that maintains white domination. You see, we must stop that. If Nigerians are a problem in the country with these drugs and everything, we have more problems bigger than that. Okay, we have more problems to deal with. When you attack a Nigerian brother because you think he brings drugs to the country, it's like trying to remove a spot on your eye while you're in the middle of a battleground. While you're in the middle of a battle. You're in the middle of a battleground, you're trying to remove a spot on your eye. It doesn't matter. It's a small problem. You have a bigger problem than that, which is defeating your enemy, confronting your enemy. I think black South Africans should be more focused. I hate to call them black South Africans because they aren't South Africans. Black people in South Africa must be more focused on destroying this white establishment called South Africa. Destroy it. Destroy South Africa. And bring to life your own nation. If you want to have a nation, bring to life your own nation. Then you can talk about chasing out the so-called Nigerians. Then you can talk about chasing out the so-called Zimbabweans. But if it is a nation based on oppressing and hating your own brother, the person who looks like you, then that kind of country or nation, it is still a white colonial structure. Because any black nation shall be based on the principles of Pan-Africanism. And if your nation find Pan-Africanism very expensive to implement, then your nation is not Pan-African, and therefore your nation is a white imperialist establishment. South Africa is not our country. We don't belong here. We belong to the land, of course, the land is ours, but the establishment is not ours. So we must seek to destroy the establishment. We must seek to destroy the government. When we vote into another political party like the ANC, the EFF, or whatever, the government doesn't change. No. The government is not those people in parliament. The government is the rich, white, capitalist who are controlling the media, controlling the politics of the country. You see? In order to destroy South Africa, we destroy those people. How do we do that? By spreading black consciousness, developing an undying love for our people, whether they come from Nigeria, whether they come from America, whether they come from Zimbabwe, Tanzania, wherever in the world they're coming from. Develop a sense of unity for your people, a sense of love. Because if you do not love your people, you don't love yourself, and you go around calling yourself a South African and saying that Nigerians aren't South Africans, we must chase them out. They are illegal immigrants. Illegal immigrants? The only illegal immigrant I know is a white man. The only illegal immigrant of the country, the only illegal immigrant in Africa is the white man, because we never invited him here. We never invited him. A black man can find home everywhere in Africa. There's no such thing as a black illegal immigrant in South Africa. These very same laws that tells us who is an illegal immigrant are the laws made by these Europeans, these colonizers. You see, the very same colonial structure that you refer to as my country, South Africa, my country, it is not your country. It is your slave master. South Africa enslaves you. A lot of you varsity graduates, all the time and the stresses and time wasting and money you spent in varsity trying to get a degree, you were not doing that for black people. And therefore, you were not doing that for yourself. You did that to get a job in a white man's business to help him generate money. You see, all these universities are here to transform black youth, black students into the gatekeepers of white domination. You see, they use us as graduates to promote white domination. We go and work in their countries. We go and work in their foreign nation, their companies and everything. We don't get to open our own companies. And when we do open our own companies, they are shut down. VBS, they get to be shut down. Okay, so we are not free, and we don't have the right or the reason to say we are South Africans, and therefore we cannot have any reason to chase our brothers out. You see, when somebody sells nyaope to little children, I think such kind of a person must be persecuted, because he's destroying lives. But it's not only him, the thing is, black drug dealers do less effect to the black youth than white drug dealers. Okay? And white drug dealers make more money on drugs than black drug dealers. And in most cases, if you can research and think through, most of these black drug dealers are working for other white criminals and generates money for them. You see, the real problem is your enemy, not your own brother. No black man invented nyaope. No black man invented cocaine, meth, or found it. It was always brought into the hood. Check, for example, in America. It was always brought into the hood to make us docile. But if we're going to be fighting our own brothers and sisters for this, we are not doing anything at all. You see, our youth consume this nyaope. Our youth consumes all these drugs, this alcohol abuse. Not because of the sellers. Well, they can also get some responsibility, but us, what are we saying to our youth? Because the media is the most powerful source that controls the youth in Africa. You see, it enslaves their minds, convinces them and pushes them to be gangster, pushes them to this drug abuse and alcohol abuse. You see what I'm talking about? So the best drug dealer is not the one who sells drugs, but the one who encourages the children to go for drugs. You see, the one who destroys children is the one who destroys the minds. You see, I think a person who sells me nyaupe is not really the one who's making me a nyaupe addict. No, it's the force that's pushing me toward that kind of an escapism. Because nobody smokes nyaupe because they enjoy it. All of them, they have problems that they're dealing with or they cannot deal with. And most of the problems is poverty. Most of the problem is failure, academic failure, the failure of excellence. And it can only be addressed if we enlighten our youth. And that can only happen if we promote black consciousness. And black consciousness comes only when we love ourselves as Africans. Loving ourselves